Hi, this is Lily Cotilla. Welcome to Edging Life. It is very important to time your conversations and your points that you're trying to make in order to increase the chances of being heard and or getting what you want, ideally, in the bigger scheme of things. Scheme, I guess, could be put in quotes. So the idea is that adults are really just big kids in disguise. Somehow, over the course of time, we do this thing called aging, and then we all attempt to treat each other like we'll respond as if we're bodhisattvas or enlightened ones of sorts. And the reality is, most people are far from, which is a good thing. We have lots to learn continually on this journey of life, and it doesn't get boring. Anyway, so with respect to timing of things that are important to you and or that hurt your feelings, you're going to get an increased reaction if you do it in the now of time. For example, if you're upset about something and someone has hurt your feelings and you express, how come you did that? Even in the most PC way, right? How come you did that? That hurt my feelings. Person X, typically a male, is actually very sensitive and will take it personally that to himself, he'll feel bad that he did something, quote, wrong or not ideal, but you won't see that because he protects his heart and then will come out with a T-Rex of a reaction, and an unnecessary one because he ultimately feels bad. And then she doesn't see the below the surface protection of the heart and that he feels bad. She just sees his T-Rex reaction, and it just escalates from there. Now, if you plant this seed, so to speak, at a different point in time from whatever it is that is occurring, and you even make it once removed outside of the dynamic, meaning your relationship, the chances of it being heard are so much greater. So for example, if somebody is late to meet you for dinner at a restaurant and you've waited 20 minutes and you wouldn't have been mad waiting past the social norm of 15, rather than saying, you're late and just remain silent about it. Oftentimes the silence and the space accompanying the silence opens up space for the person to reveal how he really feels, which is often acknowledging that he was in the wrong. Because without reacting to it, it creates a mirror effect of self onto self. He doesn't get to focus on your reaction. So then he more clearly sees his own. So using that example of the time of being 5 minutes late, let's say fast forward 2 weeks. This requires you being patient, right? And looking at the bigger picture for change to happen. So 2 weeks later, I'm just using these gender specifiers to make it easy, right? Don't think I'm meaning it all around. So he is supposed to have a business meeting, and the person who he's going to be meeting with is 25 minutes late. And he calls you later in the day to check in with you, etc., and let you know this information. It's not about going back and saying, yeah, how did that feel 2 weeks ago when you made me wait at the restaurant table by myself for 20 minutes? No, leave that in the past. The approach is, wow, yeah, it really sucks to be waiting a while when you have an agreed upon time. What do you think the social norm of etiquette is? Like 15 minutes or so? And you see this way, and then he'll give you his response. You plant the seed of the idea so that the next time, with respect to dinner, when he's running late, he may think about that conversation you had with respect to the guy at work he was supposed to be meeting. And you might get that phone call that he's running 5 minutes past, or he'll make an effort to be on time. So the reality is, people are much more willing to acquiesce new ideas when they can put themselves in the ego shoes, in their own experience, rather than the imagined experience vicariously of other. And people are much more willing to have change happen if they don't get their egos feel like they're being affected, which requires stepping out of the here and now of the interaction and bringing up the concepts in a more general, peaceful, non-attachment place and time. I guess use the Buddhist philosophy of the Noble Eightfold Path and apply it to your relationships, and a little T-Rex action so you don't get chomped. Okay, have fun.